I still remember the moment I saw the email. Subject line, "Congratulations on your promotion." My heart skipped. Not because I was surprised. I had worked for this moment for 5 long years, countless hours, late nights, sacrificed weekends, all for this. But I never imagined that success would be the beginning of betrayal. I should have been celebrating. Pop the champagne, call my mom, take the night off. But instead, I found myself staring at my phone, scrolling through old pictures of me and Jason, my best friend, my brother in everything but blood. And I had no idea, not even the faintest clue, that he was about to stab me right in the back. We started at the company on the same day. Orientation buddies. Jason was charming, funny, loud. I was the quiet, focused one. We balanced each other out perfectly. He'd bring the energy, I'd bring the structure. People loved him. So did I. We used to joke, "One day we'll run this place together." But that day never came, because only one of us got the job, and the other chose revenge. The morning of the announcement, I saw Jason by the elevator. He smiled, slapped my back. "Today's the day, man. One of us is gonna be boss." I laughed, a little nervous. Yeah, may the best man win. I didn't know then. He already knew, because while I was working, he was plotting. Emails, whispers to management, subtle manipulations. He started long before I ever suspected, framing me as unstable, claiming I took credit for his ideas. I didn't know it yet, but the lies had already taken root. So when I got the promotion, when my name was called in that all-hands meeting, Jason clapped the loudest. He hugged me, but in his eyes, I saw it. That split second, the flash of something cold, hollow, and I ignored it. God, I wish I hadn't. At first it was small things, too small to notice if you weren't looking. A spreadsheet I sent went missing. A meeting I never got invited to. A file I know I saved. Mysteriously corrupted. I blamed myself. Thought I was overworked, forgetful. But it kept happening. Again and again. I mentioned it to Jason once, just in passing. He smiled. "You sure you're not just cracking under the pressure, boss?" He laughed, but it didn't reach his eyes. That word. Boss. It started to sound bitter when he said it. Then came the comments. Subtle, undermining. He's a great guy, just a little impulsive. He works hard, but leadership, that's a different game. He never said it to my face. Of course not. He said it to others, to the right people, at the right time, and I was too blind to see it because I still believed we were friends. One afternoon I walked into the break room. I heard my name, Jason, talking to Erica from finance. I don't know, maybe Mark's not ready for this. He's under a lot of pressure. I'm just trying to support him, you know? I stepped inside. His smile snapped back on like a mask. "Hey buddy, coffee." It hit me then. He wasn't helping me. He was digging a hole and handing me the shovel. After that day in the break room, I started watching more carefully. And the more I looked, the more I saw. Jason was everywhere. In every meeting I missed, every decision that bypassed me. He was always helping, always one step ahead of me. Then came the email, an urgent project update, something I never approved, sent from my work address. It wasn't mine. I called IT. They said the login matched my credentials, same device, same IP, except I didn't send it, and I had no proof. Jason just shrugged when I brought it up. Maybe you hit send and forgot, man. We've all been there. That week, my supervisor called me in. She looked unsure, concerned. There have been concerns, she said. Missed deadlines, miscommunications. Are you okay, Mark? I wanted to scream. I wanted to shout, "It's him! It's Jason!" But what would that sound like? Paranoia? Jealousy? I kept quiet. And Jason, he just kept climbing. He was turning everyone against me, brick by brick, lie by lie. And I was standing still, watching the walls close in. I didn't know it yet, but he was already planning the final blow. The next few weeks were a blur. Emails went missing. Calls never returned. My calendar showed meetings I never scheduled. Then I was blamed for missing others I never even knew existed. I wasn't just slipping. I was being pushed. Jason started suggesting I take some mental health time in meetings, in front of others. Mark's been off lately, he'd say with a fake laugh. Maybe he just needs a breather, you know? He made me look weak, unreliable. People began tiptoeing around me, whispering, avoiding eye contact. And my boss, she called me in again. This time she didn't look concerned. She looked disappointed. There are too many issues, Mark. You're not delivering. You're not the same leader we promoted. I sat there stunned. My mouth opened, but no words came out. How do you defend yourself against a ghost? That's what Jason had become. A ghost behind every mistake, a whisper behind every doubt. I went home that night feeling like a stranger in my own skin. Sophie, my fiancée, noticed. She asked what was wrong. I told her, but even as I spoke the words, they sounded ridiculous. Jason's sabotaging me. Jason's turning everyone against me. It sounded like a movie plot. Not real life, but it was real. And it was working. Because for the first time since my promotion, I was starting to believe the lies. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I was losing it. That was exactly what Jason wanted, and I was walking right into it. One morning, I got into the office early, earlier than anyone else. I couldn't sleep the night before. Something just didn't feel right. I logged into my workstation, and for the first time I checked the server logs. Not something I usually did, but something inside me whispered, "Look deeper." That's when I saw it. Access entries to documents I never opened. Emails forwarded I never sent. All from my credentials. Except, I wasn't even in the office those days. I froze. Who had my login? Who would even know how to? Jason. He was the only one who'd ever borrowed my laptop during meetings. The only one I trusted enough to ask for help when something broke. And suddenly, it all made sense. He hadn't just turned people against me with words. He used my own digital footprint, planted seeds, created chaos. He was framing me. I printed the logs, highlighted entries, built a folder with every shred of evidence I could gather. It wasn't much, but it was enough. I booked a meeting with HR, told them everything. I could see it in their eyes. They weren't shocked. They were cautious. Later that day, Jason walked into my office, casual, smiling. "Hey man, heard you've been digging around a lot lately. Everything okay?" His smile didn't reach his eyes. I stared at him, and for the first time, I didn't see my best friend. I saw a rival, a manipulator, a threat. "Jason," I said quietly, "I know what you did." He didn't flinch, just nodded slowly and whispered, "Then you should have been smarter." Then he walked away. After my meeting with HR, things moved fast. They launched a formal investigation, interviewed team members, checked server access logs, pulled email metadata. But Jason was smart. He didn't leave a clear trail. He worked in shadows. Just enough manipulation to make everything look like a mistake. Still, I held my ground. I wasn't going down for something I didn't do. Not this time. A week later, I was called into a meeting with HR again. Only this time, Jason was sitting across the table. I walked in, sat down, stared him in the eye. He looked calm, confident, smug. Then the HR director turned to me and said, "We've completed our preliminary review, and we have some questions." I answered everything, point by point, fact after fact. I handed over the files I'd been compiling, the audit logs, the discrepancies, even the witnesses who'd noticed Jason using my laptop. I left nothing out. Then it was Jason's turn. He leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, and said, "This is just paranoia. Mark's been under pressure since the promotion. He's slipping, and now he's looking for someone to blame." The room went quiet. For a second, I thought they believed him. Then the HR director pulled out a folder, placed it on the table. "We traced one of the fake emails you supposedly sent, Mark. The device it was sent from was logged into Jason's backup account." Jason's face lost all its color. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. That was it. The lie shattered. All of it came tumbling down. Jason tried to argue, said it was a mistake, that maybe someone else used his credentials. But it was too late. He'd gambled and lost. HR placed him on immediate suspension. Security escorted him out. Just like that. My best friend, the one I trusted most, walked out of my life in silence. After Jason was gone, the office felt different, quiet, unsettling. People treated me with sympathy, but also caution, as if they didn't know what to say, or how to act around someone who just exposed a friend. I got to keep my promotion. The team was restructured, and I was asked to take over the project fully. Objectively, I had won, but it didn't feel like victory. I still thought about Jason. Every time I passed the desk where he used to sit, every time I opened my email, half expecting another silent strike from someone else. Trust isn't something you rebuild overnight. I went through the motions, meetings, planning, strategy. But inside, I kept asking myself, how did I miss it? How could someone who cheered for me also scheme behind my back? I even found myself replaying old conversations, wondering if there were signs I just didn't see. And there were. I just didn't want to believe them. A month later, I got a message. Not an apology, not an explanation. Just one line from an unknown email. You always were too trusting. I don't know if it was Jason. I'll never know for sure. But I took it as a reminder. Not all betrayal is loud. Sometimes it whispers, smiles, pretends to care. I'm still in that job, still leading, still working hard, but I'm not the same. I've learned to lead with caution, to listen deeper, and to watch for shadows, even in the brightest rooms. That promotion came with a title, but also with a price. And every day, I carry the weight of loyalty and the lesson of betrayal.